welcome to System Shock 2. So, exit Polito, enter Shodan, and now it's time to tackle Deck 4, Ups.
Agility activated.
Simulation Unit 4 just went offline again. It took the 6 of us 12 hours to get it back online the last time. I hacked into the data log file, and the last user online? Malik. Oh, he denied it, of course. I told Bronson about it, and that paranoid crank showed up here with around 14 security men looking for blood. But she couldn't prove that Malik actually did anything. Christ, why would anybody want to sabotage the sim units?
So it'll be time for us to improvise ourselves as a programmer and make it so that the sim units will be able to serve Shodan in order for us to actually make it so that we'll be able to stop Xerxes. And yeah, whenever you hear power drain, make sure that you check out on your charge armor.
I have a secret from the many.
I've created overrides from my little
Experiments in reprogramming the sim units
and entrusted them to the care of 3 special friends. I've dressed them in
red
and instructed them to stay away
from strangers. A smart hacker always
has a back door.
Hey, is that one of his special friends in red that he was talking about? And wow, he really isn't kidding when he's telling that he instructed the people in red to run away from us, because holy shit, they're fast.
The individual is obsolete. When you and your kind are extinct, we shall cleanse our collective
memory of the stain of your existence.
Oh great, where the hell could he be hidden now? There's a million of doors out there. And finally it seems as if there's a couple of hybrids around here, but hey, they just have pipes, so there won't be... okay, these ones don't have any kind of pipes, instead they have grenades. But don't worry, just like the pipe hybrids, they die rather fast. Alright, there's no running away from me now, Mr. Cyborg. Okay, these guys can fight pretty well.
You perform well for an insect. Transmitting cyber modules.
These guys are really threatening because they move and attack very quickly, plus they like to constantly run away from you.
I'm trying to get up to find you, Tommy, but I can't. I'm stuck in ops. There's some kind of civil war going on here. The security forces came in and... Now, don't freak out, but I'm hurt. But not too bad. I managed to pull together a supply of medkits and a few other goodies. Some of it looks valuable, but I'm not sure what it is. Maybe some kind of military-grade implant. I left the stuff I didn't need in a corner of the data library, out of the way in case I need it later. I'm on my way. I promise you, I will not die. I will not die. You do the same, my love. Yours, Becca.
It seems as if the more that we get up into the ship, the worse the problems get. I mean, Deck 3 was overtaken by aliens, and now there's a civil war which went on Ops. With that said, I'm really hoping that both of these characters somehow manage to make it out of here. So yeah, at this point we're pretty much making extreme fetch into the eggs, because there are some items that you can get in eggs, but grabbing them in midair like that is a pain. But here we go, now I can finally destroy those eggs and not have any worms. Wait a minute, how is that even possible? I mean, those worms just came out of nothing. Because the way that the scripted event works, you're supposed to make the worms fall out as you enter the room from the door, but I didn't go far enough into the door to activate this event, so yeah, they didn't really take into consideration the fact that you could enter from the window. And overall, Deck 4 really do mark the introduction of scripted event in order to ambush you for the most part. I mean, up until now, there's not been a whole lot of scripted event in order to ambush you or simply terrorize the hell out of you, but things are about to change here, because on deck 4 and 5, well, we'll see more of this. And yeah, I know somebody asked what the modification and repair software does whenever it's being upgraded to another level, but it diminishes the difficulty whenever you perform those technical tasks. I just never brought it up because I'm never gonna get any of those skills.
This is Xerxes. At 0200, there will be a poetry reading by Protocol Unit T892/2 in the Deck 5 Commons area. Please bring any authorized material that you wish to be read by T892/2.
Okay, so when that poetry reading just became about cooking people like lobsters for absolutely no reason? But still, you gotta appreciate the way that Xerxes do all of those public service announcements while murdering you at the same time. That AI's got class. Okay, so it seems as if we've covered most of the ground here, so time to go someplace else. For the most part, Ops is a pretty expensive deck because there's a whole lot to see and do into it. And especially this one section of the ship, because we're into another crew quarter section of the ship again, so that means we're gonna have to go through a whole lot of individual rooms where there's sleeping quarters and make it so that we rummage through everyone's belongings. So all in all, this pretty much will be one collection update.
Beck, I think your idea for insurance is going to get us in a lot of trouble, but I trust you, so let's do it. I've managed to wrangle access codes to the escape pods on the command deck. We only need to hack into Xerxes' emergency subsystem, get past the ice nodes, and try to avoid being spotted by Bronson's security team. Piece of cake, right?
Sorry for not keeping up with the text, but I'm hearing some... Oh god, I definitely heard something. Yeah, when I was talking about the adult version of the spiders coming up soon, this is what I was talking about. And these mean business. When you're dealing with spiders, you gotta bring the heavy artillery. Not only their bites do a fair amount of damage, but every single time you get bitten, you also need to use 2 antitoxin hypos in order to get rid of the poison. So melee attacks are not recommended.
We are many,
And you are one.
How can you hope
to prevail against us.
Additionally, the laser sword that I have is not very effective against spiders because, as you may remember, monkeys are very shrieky. Okay, that was not what I meant, but... Wait, don't these monkeys look a bit different? I swore that the other monkeys had a blue brain before. But yeah, the laser sword deals half damage against spiders, so in short it's not recommended to use them. And we have the introduction of gambling machines, which are as useful as you might think. You can never win whenever you play slots. So right now I'm gonna need some more strain because I still need to carry a whole lot of stuff, and we're finally gonna start pouring points into maintenance for the sake of being able to keep our laser gun into full shape. And additionally, you might have noticed that having extra points in maintenance makes it so that your batteries can store more power. So if you focus on energy weapons, you always benefit from having high maintenance.
Are we joined?
We follow.
You talking to me? Wait, where are you going? That's not really how physics work, game. Yeah, for some reason this is the part of the game which decided to bug out on me. And just in case you wondered, you cannot have any splash damage whenever you use pyrokinesis. And yet the monkeys will have splash damage whenever they will attack me with balls of cold. So all in all, grenade hybrids can be threatening whenever you have very low agility because you might not be able to catch up on them before they throw their grenade, but their throwing arm is so slow that usually you won't have too much trouble getting to them and whack them to death. Finally, they don't really have that much more hit points compared to the pipe hybrids. So if possible, always use melee attacks on them, unless that you're slow, in which case you probably will want to shoot. So that's not the last time that we'll be exploring random living quarters in search for stuff. This will pretty much be the rest of this update, but at least we can appreciate this piano. Oh my god, I really don't like these noises. Not only they're unsettling, but that also means that there's gonna be a spider just coming out of nowhere in order to attack you. Case in point! So the good news, we have the spider's organ, which means that whenever it'll be researched, we will be able to deal more damage to them, but the bad news is, researching it will pretty much take a decade to do, even though I have 3 points in research. At least you can still research the spider's organ, even though you only have 1 point of research. So that's the good news. But the bad news is, if you want to research this, you might as well have a book handy, because that will take you a long while. Which will be a good opportunity for us to bust out the games from the Game Pig in order to finally showcase them.
Miri, so far our work with the late model assassin cyborgs has gone remarkably well. I hope things with that son of a bitch Diego never come to that. But it is comforting to know we are not nearly as defenseless as the UNN stormtroopers might think. The only glitch we've encountered is with the upgraded laser rapiers. The poor things keep severing parts of themselves. We're trying to get the bugs fixed, but I know that bureaucrat is watching us. It's sad to see a man so haunted by the ghost of his father. His hatred for everything Triop represents is remarkable to behold.
Holy shit, Korechkin really hated Diego ever since the very beginning, because just in case you didn't have a look at the date of this log, it was on March 2, which is way before the events that happened on this ship. In fact, when we take all of the audio logs in the game, this is the earliest one that we see in the entire game. We cannot go further back in the past.
I brought down the last of the sim units today.
I am full of the glory of the many.
Here comes Bronson. I am at peace. Good evening, Bronson. Have you come to...
Turn that damn thing off.
Okay, no Bronson in sight, we can relax. This part of the audio log always makes me jump whenever I hear it. Also, in the room with the Korechkin log, we found out a standard suit of armor, which gives you 30% of protection against any kind of damage that you take. I don't care if worms are really easy to kill, it's still unsettling to see a whole lot of them going out of a corpse like that. But yeah, the standard suit of armor requires 4 points of strength in order to use. And here you see that you can use your auto repair units in order to put replicators back into working order. There was no real reason why I chose this replicator, but I figure I might as well just show it off.
Database reinitialized.
Also, holy shit, that replicator had lots of amazing ammo types. If I was any good with standard and heavy weapons, this would have been great to have around, because you usually don't find armor-piercing rounds that often into replicators, but you also had some very good types of grenades as well. Oh shit, there's a camera all the way up there. Oh well, I guess I'm just gonna wait it out. Hopefully it won't see me again here.
Potential threat detected. Potential threat detected.
Oh my god, why did I have to go against that one worm? He was not even a threat, for crying out loud. So far, I mainly use the laser pistol in order to take out machines, cameras and all of this, and I'm showing you why I did that, because it's pretty terrible for the most part against any other type of enemies, and more so against annelids, because the laser pistol already does really bad damage, but that damage is now half, which means that I had to shoot a worm 5 times in order to kill it. So if you want a challenge, try beating the game with only the laser pistol. You'll love it. Because at least the wrench does decent damage against most things. Do you have... Okay. My guy had such constipation problems that he broke the toilet in 2. First I had to deal with the invasion, and now I have this of all things? Man, this game is hard. At least with the alarm, no enemy can reach me all the way down here, but that means that there could be some enemies spawning, which might be a threat later, because sometime I will have to go all the way back up here. Ah, that robot was just waving at me. Oh yeah, we might have met a whole lot of cyborg midwives on hydroponics, but for the rest of the game, they will be far rarer for the most part. Instead, they will be mainly replaced by cyborg assassins, which really is not that good of a trade-off because those new enemies are a whole lot more threatening than the cyborg midwives were. With a laser sword and having researched their organ, they're not really that big of a threat anymore. So there's no more alarm, but there's still a protocol droid around the area.
Xerxes won't like this.
I'm sorry, but I don't think that the aim of the game is to make Xerxes happy, so I'm gonna have to skip on your advice. Yeah, I was not kidding about this update pretty much being a collection, because holy hell, there's a lot of rooms to explore. There's far more rooms than there were until Deck 2, the medical section. At least it feels this way for me, because if it isn't, then you're probably slowed down due to the fact that there's a whole lot more enemies to be seen around this place. And another friendship Steam device is up for the taking. Essentially, you'll want to stockpile the friendship Steam devices so that you will be able to freely mod the weapons that you really like into the game. Whenever you'll be at the end game where you'll have all of your big and heavy weapons or standard or whatever you use in order to tear through everything with a fully upgraded weapon without having learned how to modify ever. If anything, modify only serves to make the early game a bit easier because then you can upgrade your early guns and have a little bit more power in the early game.
I'm sure this is what you were looking for.
Your flash.
Alright, I'm just tired of those two jerks up there making a whole lot of noise. And yeah, I know that setting the overdrive shot for these guys is overkill and not needed at all, but these guys just talk way too much. If only I left that monkey alone, he might have learned how to shoot armor-piercing bullets with his mind. Oh well. It's not as if I'll ever know that myself. I still cannot shoot a pistol for crying out loud. But at this point, I don't really need it anymore because my psionic abilities and the laser sword really fill the gap really well.
Tommy, I don't know what's going on here. Ever since we received orders to clear out Deck 3, people have been disappearing. There's a kind of gloom hanging over everybody, but no one seems to be willing to talk about it. I don't like it. Meet me on the rec deck at 0900. I've got an idea. A little insurance for you and me.
If we wanted to, we could go up to Deck 5 right away in order to see what she's talking about, because Deck 5 is now open, because the game gets a little bit less linear here, because you're given the choice of tackling either Deck 4 or Deck 5. But for the most part, you usually will be better served if you simply go for Deck 4 right away and then go with Deck 5 later, because Deck 5 is quite harder to deal with, and it doesn't really offer you anything to deal with Deck 4 at all, and well, Deck 4 is just easier in overall. So we have some research to do and some time to kill, so might as well take on the Game Pig and go play some Swine Hunter. And no, this is certainly not a take on Spy Hunter whatsoever. I can't really say I'm a fan of this adaptation, mainly because you're controlling yourself with the mouse, and that just goes against everything that I knew about Spy Hunter, even though I was terrible at this game. But you have to play this with a joystick, but It's not as if you can have a joystick here. Instead, we just have the pretty much iOS before it was iOS. And yes, sometimes there are other friendly cars which spawn by, but we never got to see them. So this is a Psy booster, and this item will make it so that your Psy stat will increase by 1 point for 5 minutes. It's a pretty negligible item for the most part, but it can make certain skills much stronger, especially adrenaline overproduction and some other abilities that we will see later. But it's not gonna do much wonders into increasing the efficiency of skills like pyrokinesis or cryokinesis. So we're researching the spider's organ, and as you may remember, it's really long to research, so we have all the time in the world to play some Overworld 0. It's pretty much one of those turn-based role-playing games where you wander into a huge overworld, there's a million of baddies that look exactly the same, and you just have to fight them. And I can't really say I'm a huge fan of this one, considering that the mountains are the same colors in the forest, and there's not really a huge deal of depth to this game. And to add furthermore to this, I have never went particularly far in order to see anything in this game. Usually I just try fighting some enemies and I just end up dying. All in all, I really don't like this game that much, but I can't really say that I've been a huge fan of roguelikes and overall. Stuff like NetHack, Dwarf Fortress, and all sort of these things, I don't really like it. I just don't like the trial and error nature of these games, the fact that for the most part these games are ugly as sin, and this one is no exception, but yeah, all in all, these games don't really attract me the way that they should, or could. It's just that you see all of those houses or anks lying all over the place. Whenever you go over some of them, some might end up doing some things, the others won't, so all in all, I'm still confused and have absolutely no clue as to what they ever do. So might as well try to find and collect 15 gold pieces in order to see what this house is doing. Oh, there's a whole lot of gold right over here. Oh god, that's an enemy! I should have tried to back away, but I really wanted that gold really bad. Oh my god, this is not over yet. Honestly, I'd rather stare at this wall before playing Overworld 0 again, so let's just equip the lab assistant implant and let's research our day away.
Research complete.
Alright, we're finally done with this, so yeah, once again we get a 25% damage upgrade. It's always 25%. And we learned that the annelids are especially resistant to energy weapons. In fact, the best way to deal with those enemies is anti-personnel bullets, incendiary weapons, and another weapon type that we will see much later. But for most characters, having a 25% damage bonus will be a huge deal, because you just cannot understand how damaging and annoying spiders can be. At least with pyrokinesis and my Psy abilities, I can two-shot them, which is really good considering that normally at this point of the game, you won't have much weapons that will two-shot spiders. And there we go, we are done with this section of ops. Time to see what's lying ahead behind this bulkhead as we explore Op C.